Well, hello, and I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. Um, it's hot, but I'm really loving it, especially since I pay for my own utilities. I, this is just great right now to have a break from the winters. But anyways, it's good to be on YouTube today. I decided to take a break from all the heat and turn on all the fans and come on air and talk to people about what's going on. First of all, I am very thankful that I still have my home. I still have my car. They're material things, but having a roof over your head is very important. I mean, I don't want to have to go out and live outside in a tent, but I'm gonna let it, if I have to, I have to. Okay, so there's nothing, nothing wrong when you have to live outdoors. You have to do what you have to do, right? But anyways, I wanted to answer a couple questions that was asked of me from some of my YouTube subscribers. One, hello, Team Shrink, Miss Team Shrink. Just wanted to say, give you a shout out and keep your chin up because everything is going to be just great. And today I'm going to answer some of your questions that you asked me. One thing I wanted to say to you was about I think any medical questions, you're doing the right thing by going to your doctor and posing them to your doctor and writing them down. That I'm a huge fan of journaling. Writing in journals. I write in journals all over my house. And back at me, you see a chart. I chart out my day. I chart out my life. I'm even charting out my new business that I'm putting on air. So for me, how I control some of the things that goes on to trigger my emotional eating is by writing. I write continuously. I make sure I date what I write. I write the time down that I wrote it because actually how you feel when you wake up in the morning can be totally different than how you feel during lunch and also how you feel in the evening just before you get ready to go to bed or watching TV. Emotional eating has a time and place. In the morning you may not feel like you're gonna have an attack because that's what I call it, an attack. And you may be going through the morning just fine. You may have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, orange juice, or whatever. But and all in all, things are going smoothly. Then, say during lunch, something may come up, and or either you may have a thought that comes to mind, and it sets off a kind of chain reaction that you kind of reach for the first thing that's in front of you to satisfy. It's like a pacifier. Food is like a pacifier for me. So when you talked about eating the cookies, my comfort food was donuts. Whenever I had an emotional attack when I was in my 20s and as a teenager, because I was overweight all of my life. I always struggled with a weight problem. I would go to the nearest Dunkin' Donuts, get a full box of glazed donuts, and I would chow down somewhere to the point where I felt like I was just going to throw up. And sometimes I did throw up. I wouldn't cry. It was interesting. I would not cry, but I would eat those donuts to no end. But I don't do that anymore. And one of the reasons I don't was because, as life goes on, things change and we pick up other habits. So I went from maybe donuts to fast foods, which donut is a fast food as well, but I mean McDonald's, Burger King, all of those. I went to Whoppers, if you know what a Whopper is, those big giant hamburgers with everything on it. Extra cheese, extra anything that was fattening that was going to pile the inches and the pounds on, I went for it. But I realized over the years that those type of foods did not help me. Not only was it killing me slowly with high cholesterol and other kind of things going on, it was like a high. I became high off of eating junk food. And actually, the food didn't taste good to me. I just ate it, but it didn't taste good at all. Um, and then I felt good while I was eating it. That's why it's called comfort food. But then after it was over, I would excuse me, it's very hot. I would beat myself up. So you asked me, how did I come to controlling that? The emotional eating. I still have emotional triggers. I had gastric bypass surgery over about 7 years ago. Lost 150 pounds. However, if you noticed, if you followed or watched any of my other videos, when I became laid off from work last year, it wasn't the layoff that actually triggered my emotional eating. It was the information I found out after the layoff, of the people that were given privilege positions. Okay, me being the person with 21 years and a master's degree, to have my job given to someone with maybe 5 years experience and maybe a bachelor's or an associate's degree, who knows absolutely nothing about the children, the people, or the population being served, but they're doing the job and getting paid big bucks for it and more. Actually, they're getting paid more than I was getting paid. I was not upset about that, the layoff, because layoffs is happening all across the world, with everybody. But it was the fact that people's friends that didn't work for this position ended up with my job. They had to downsize or had to cut salaries, benefits. So the first thing that people will do, you're supposed to go by seniority, but they went by their friends. Everybody want to keep their friends employed and their family employed. So, but you can't do things like that. You have to do things the right way. So that triggered my emotional eating this time, and it actually, I reach for carbohydrates. I'm not real big on sweets, but if I want comfort food, I just like run to the sugar cabinet. So how I started controlling that. Oh, and also I was afraid that my house was going to be foreclosed on me and things like that. So those are the things that triggered my emotional eating this time. And so when I came on YouTube, actually it was to help people who were suffering from a crisis, but had other things going on in their life that was triggering those crises, and giving people information on how to hold on to their home, how to do things in your life so that you don't end up gaining the weight that you've lost back. I've gained some of the weight back, but I actually right now I started walking again 3 to 4 times a week. I'm pretty much back on my strictly high protein, some carbs, but not too much in the carb department. I do a lot of reading, so when I feel that I'm gonna have an attack, I may pick up a book and start reading. So I read a lot of spiritual magazines, spiritual books. I read quite a bit. So these are the things that help me through the emotional eating part. I also keep things around the house that would satisfy me if I go into a crisis and I'm having trouble pulling myself out, which I may put some maybe turkey meat or cut up some like low-fat cheese or something like that, and I'll put those things in the refrigerator and I'll have those things to munch on if I need to. I also drink a lot of green tea, lots and lots of green tea. Green tea, oolong, I don't know if you ever heard of oolong, but I drink a lot of oolong tea. These are the kind of things that help me, and actually it also helped me to lose the weight when I was losing my weight, and it helped me to maintain my weight loss. So between, excuse me, I'm so hot. Between the walking and the reading and different things like that, that's what helps me controls some of my triggers. When I start to feel like I'm just going to have a emotional breakdown with the food. Also, you see me pinch it. I actually have extra skin, but I could have got it. I could have had the extra skin removed, but I just didn't want to have another surgery. My daughter, who had gastric bypass, she had her extra skin removed. Oh, it looks gorgeous, but I didn't do it. And actually, my medical insurance would have paid for it. Now I don't have any medical insurance, so hey. But anyways, I hope that answers some of your questions about how I control my emotional eating and the triggers. I do. Oh, and I do a lot of self-talk. You got to affirmations and self-talk and telling yourself how wonderful you are and how it's going to be a great day and how things are going to work out. Having faith that things are going to work out. These are things that help me throughout my throughout my triggers. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, I never had my gallbladder taken out. I did not have any gallbladder problems, thank God, but no gallbladder problems. I drink a lot of water, so maybe that's part of it, and I drink a lot of tea, so that might be part of it too. My phone is ringing, but I'm not going to answer it. But anyways, those are some of the things I do, and I'll try and give you some more things that I do to keep my eating under control. I have not gained all that weight back, I can tell you that. People tell me I look a lot younger than what but I guess when I tell people my actual age, they become shocked. But just to give you an example, I was at a picnic with my daughter, 4th of July, and when she introduced me as her mother, people thought I was one of her girlfriends. But that's not to boast about anything. That's just to say that I also try to eat healthy foods. A lot of I use extra virgin olive oil. And there's a book, I let my daughter borrow it, but there's a book that I also use. I'm not a big fan of this whole diet thing. I believe in eating healthy, eating in moderation. These are the kind of things that I do for my emotional eating, and like I said, I'll tell you some other things that I do. Maybe it can help you. Never had the gallbladder removed. Don't have any pains as far as gallbladder. I have heard of people that had to have their gallbladder removed after their surgery. My daughter also has not had her gallbladder removed, and she doesn't have any pains either. But we also, both of us drink a lot of fluids, so that might have a lot to do with it. Trying to think of anything else I can tell you at this time, but until next time, I will try and give you some more techniques that I use. But writing in a journal, like you said, you write in your diary, that has helped me tremendously. I actually read, when I go around my house, I read some of my journals now that I had from 7 years ago. It's funny, and I read some of the things where I said, oh God, please help me not to do this, please help me not to eat that. But like I said, I write down what I'm feeling at the time when it happens to me. So I think writing down your feelings when they're going on is really, really important. So just keep that in mind. And until next time, love you. Peace.